As a self-described Emily Dickinson scholar, maybe that's too far, but having read a lot of Emily Dickinson poetry, I have come across quite a few different depictions of what it means to be alone, of what it means to be lonely, of what it means to be a loner. And the contextualization in today's poem between isolation and society is one of the stranger and maybe most intriguing across which I have ever found myself reading. Welcome to Strip Cover Lit, where we squeeze the bigger picture out of literature. I'm Adrian Fort, and we're here for another poetry discussion, which will appear, of course, in two separate playlists here on the channel. Number one being the poetry discussion playlist, now over 700 videos strong, and number two being the Robert Frost playlist, a playlist dedicated to the grumpy old man himself, and today is no exception. We have Desert Places by Robert Frost, and it reads as such: Snow falling and night falling fast, oh, fast. In a field I looked into going past, and the ground almost covered smooth in snow, but a few weeds and stubble showing last. The woods around it have it, it is theirs. All animals are smothered in their lairs. I am too absent spirited to count. The loneliness includes me unawares, and lonely as it is, that loneliness will be more lonely ere it will be less. A blanker whiteness of benighted snow with no expression, nothing to express. They cannot scare me with their empty spaces between stars, on stars where no human race is. I have it in me so much nearer home to scare myself with my own desert places. So, what is going on here? We have a loner out on his own as the snow is falling, and he happens to look over at a field, a desert field that is filling up with snow. One thing that we've talked a lot about with Robert Frost, and I have to say, it returns yet again. The desert in literature, and probably in the human psyche writ large, is a lot like the forest in a way. It is used often to represent the subconscious. I think that there are different connotations to the. I think that the. I think there are different connotations to the forest representing subconscious from the desert representing subconscious, just as there are from the desert and the ocean representing subconscious. But I think it's all kind of there. And what we're watching here is a desert field fill up with snow. Except for what? What is sticking out? A few weeds. Which begs the question, why make that observation? What are weeds? Well, going back at least, so the word used to be, the etymology of weeds, was just that it was a plant. But somewhere around the 15th century, it picked up a negative connotation. It was a plant somewhere it wasn't supposed to go. It was a naughty plant. If you're talking about the subconscious, and you mention a naughty thing, that naughty thing is a thought that pops up that you have no control over. How much does that sound like a weed? What is the snow in this poem? The snow, in my estimation, is a calming force. Our speaker seems defiant in his loneliness. You only get to be defiant in your loneliness if you have built up the defense mechanisms necessary to be so alone for so long. Too much lonesomeness will drive you mad. So you have to have this calming force of your own. You have to have this reservoir of reserve, basically, reservoir of reserve, but a reservoir of calm, of the ability to not need, to not want, to not long. A speaker seems to have that. But the observation is made that even as that calming force, the snow, even as that calming force, this character's own steely reserve, as that is growing, even for our speaker, those weeds, those unwanted thoughts, poke above that calming force. Our speaker, it has to be noted, is not in the woods. He is not with the animals. Now, there's no other people mentioned, right? Our speaker doesn't seem to have much care for people. The metaphor here, in my opinion, seems to me that the woods are kind of civilization. The woods represent a city. The animals represent city dwellers. The forest dwellers represent the city dwellers. Our speaker is very, very sure to note that he's not one of them. He's not like them. They are bunkering down, smothered in their lairs. Our speaker is too absent-minded to be amongst their count. The loneliness includes him unawares. Our speaker is not the woods. Our speaker is not the animals. And when we go a little bit further in this poem, he makes it expressly clear that neither is he the stars. He is not the animals, he is not the woods, he is not the stars. Our speaker is identifying with the desert spaces. He's identifying with the void. So that's a pretty thorough rundown through the poem, but there's one word here that still sticks out. There's one word here that I didn't define. And it's a weird one, even if it is very commonplace in the language. They cannot scare me with their empty spaces between stars, on stars where no human race is. Who is they? Who is they? There's no answer given in the poem. There's no answer here in the words themselves. So I think what we have to do to answer that question, because it's a very ethereal they. It comes out of nowhere. Who is they that is trying to scare our speaker with empty spaces? Don't they know that he is the empty spaces? In order to get there, I think we have to put ourselves in the mind of someone who is perhaps terminally alone. That people, I think, always look at loners differently. You are someone who shows up someplace alone, maybe it's a one-off. If you go again, they know you as the loner. They know you as on your own. Why? Are you on your own? Have you scared everyone else off? Are you untrustworthy? In that mental state, I think the overwhelming pressure is that people's expectations are that you should not be alone. So the they in question becomes actually very simple to answer. It is the same as the animals. It is the same as the forest. It is society at large. Society at large tries to scare the loner with those empty spaces, not understanding that the loner is the empty space, is one with the void. They try to tell you that you should not be alone. But why? Why shouldn't you be? That is all I have for this poetry discussion. If you like or appreciate what it is that I do here, hitting a like button really does help me out, as it tells YouTube to share this video with other literature lovers. If you find yourself here by chance but not design, literature is the only thing I talk about on this channel, dropping multiple videos every single week. There's poetry every Monday, and as always, I hope to have you back for the next one.